Hey guys, Pokizama here, and welcome back to another Weiss video. Today, I'll be going over the leaks of the Life Set 2. So let's get this started. Now, before I start, I'm gonna inform you guys that I'm not gonna do every single card today for this set, mainly the ones that impact or I find interesting that I'll be going over it. So without further ado, let's go over the first card. The double R32 Tolga. It combos with a book. During your turn, this card gains 4,000 power. Also, it's on play heal. Climax combo, ditch 1. When this card battles opponent is reversed, and I have the book combo, I get to pay the cost. And if I have 4 more other characters, right, 4 more other dates or celestial spirits, so 1 or the 2 traits will work. I may pay the cost. If I do, I can deal 3 damage to my opponent and look at the top card of my opponent. Either leave it or wheel it. Now this card, on the surface, it looks pretty good, but unfortunately, I don't find this card all that strong, especially in this meta, mainly because it needs on reverse. And this card, in order to be on in order to get the reverse, you need to play around rest backups, other cards that can get over like 14k. For example, Hololive with its Kanta, it can really easily get over 14k if it's set up well. And it already has rest backup you need to worry about. Also, you need to worry about certain sets that has uh, anti-damage counters or minus soul counters in a sense, right? If they stop on your on reverse or know that you have an on reverse combo, most likely, at the very least, they're only going to give you 1 or 0, right? Because they can definitely play around on reverse, and playing around on reverse is really easy to do. Now, as for the power department, it does gain 4k on play, which is during your turn, and the base power is 7.5, so technically it's going to be 11.5, plus the climax is going to be 12.5 before you attack. And the burn is nice because it's a deal 3, and you also get a stride, look at the top card opponent, and potentially potentially know if that one card is clean or not, right? I'm gonna get back to this in a bit, and I'm gonna jump straight to the 1-0 Toga here, because these two definitely corresponds to each other and complements each other really well. As for the 1-0 Toga, is during my turn only. All of my other 3-2 Togas gains 2k power. So this is basically a 14.5 base now with the 4k and the climax, right? So this is basically a 14.5 base. On top of that, this card is a global 500, which makes this Toga 15k base, which is pretty big, and it will likely get over a lot of things, even with backup, right? And then you can combo it all with the 3-2 Kotori, which is the assist, so it's like 17k with before attacking. So if they don't play around this and they do give you reverses, you are most likely going reverses because a 17k Tolka is pretty big, right? And I can pay 1 when I trigger a climax, which is a book. I can ditch I believe I can, if I trigger the book, I can choose a character and add to my hand. So if I trigger a book, I get to salvage the character by paying 1. Now, these two really do complement each other, but the issue is the on reverse part. And the issue is of this, do you have the space for it? So I may go talk about the 1-0 Toga real quick. The 1-0 Toga is good, but you're pretty much forced to run a book. So you're running the 3-2 Toga, and you're pretty much running this card as the level 1 combo. And as for the space, do you really have the space to run it? Because standby is still a thing. This card helps a lot with standby. Same with this card, can give up early plays, can force them to side, and this card can give up the technically level 2s, because this is the strongest anti-level 2 card in the game right now, mainly because, well, level 2 killer, because it can get up to 12k, right? Most level 2 killers are just around 10k ish, 11 ish, but this card can get over 12k. So which makes this card really valuable against the low 2 since it can pretty much get over them, right? And you don't really mind them using backups on this card because you're not really wasting anything for it, and they're paying an extra stock just to keep the teacher alive. And most of the time, you have some way to pump power, which is the 1-0 Toga, 1-0 Kurumi over here, and then the Brainstorm. This card will most likely be out of range for the backup for them. So I feel like the Hibiki, the Kurumi, especially when your level 1 game being really fail, you pretty much have to run this to combat any level 1 cards that's either a 1-0 wall or the 1-1 Silicas. This card really complements well in the deck because it's a forced reverse because it's a suicider. And also, it pumps 1k to your characters, right? And then there's the 1-1 Yoshino, which pretty much self-explanatory. The level 1 Mikasa, also a bomb. Very annoying to deal with, a very good card to combat those early play characters, right? Like the standbys, the early plays, right? And the 1-0 Toga, I think the level 1 combo right now is the way to go. But for 8 book, in order for this card to be max value, you have to go for 8 book. And 8 book sounds really bad, especially when this card is not the best. It's good, but it's not the best, right? I feel like if I want to run this card, then I need to make room for this then I need to make room for the 1-0 Toga. But if I look at the level 1 options we need to run against the current meta, it's just I don't think I have room. And compared to the level 1 Mimi, right? If this set 1 Toga is practically the same as the Mimi from the precon, I feel like it would probably be a must run, but it's not. It's a worse Mimi in a sense. Yes, you get trigger book. You salvage one, but this card, if you trigger climax, you ditch a climax to salvage, and the climax complements with this card too because you're running gold bar and pens. And since this 8 book is most likely drawing an unknown card and then salvaging a character. Now, the upside with this is, yeah, there's really no upside, right? Because you're paying before you're putting the book trigger into your stock, so you're not even paying out this card. So in order to run this card, I need to make room, and I had to choose which of these to get rid of, right? You want to keep the Kurome, you want to keep the Hibiki, and you want to keep the Yoshino. Despite that, running this card plus this makes it really big, and like I said, the reverse effect is a huge issue. So let's look at the set 2-3-2 Toga. I feel like if we have a card like this, Kanata, the set 2 Toga would have been much better because you're guaranteed one board that's guaranteed a reverse that cannot be back up or evented, right? And there's also this card. The fact this card allows me to shove top 3 and burn 5 on reverse. So if we do get a card like Kanata in this build, I think I'm gonna run this over the I think I might consider running this over the new 3-2 Toka, mainly because this is a stride for 1. Meanwhile, this is a kick for 3, right? I get to shove the top 3 cards back to my opponents on reverse, and then I pay the cost. Yes, the cost is more, but you really only need 1 for this effect because it's a burn 5. It's guaranteed 3 damage and 2 unknown, right? But if we do, and you have room for this because you can run 3 of it, you can run 2 of it because you really only need 1 for this, and you don't need another card to complement with this. But this card does need the 1-0 to complement with this to be over cards, right? And you need to not be afraid of backups, and other things that can prevent you from reversing. So with this card, with that being said, I feel like this card is good, but it needs a lot more. And I feel like the current meta doesn't mean I feel like the current meta doesn't really allow this card to shine. So for my rating, these two cards currently, because it's on reverse, and yes, it is big, but on reverse is really easy to play around. So I'm gonna give this card a 2.5 out of 5, and same with this card, since these two complement each other a lot. Move on, right? And honestly, you just don't have the room for this card at 1-0. I might be wrong. I'm going to test out this little combo and see how well it goes. Like, but it's on reverse, so I'm not gonna keep my hopes up. Who knows? This might be bumped up to 3 out of 5 if I do end up liking it. But most likely, it's gonna be rough to find room for this card, definitely. And yeah, pretty much. So I move on to the Zozo Toga. The Zozo Toga. Now the first effect I feel like is like a niche effect, which you don't, which is helpful, but you don't really need it. So the first effect is pay 2, put a top card on my deck into clock. If I have another date or sense of spirit character, choose one book CX from above in your waiting room and place it in your climax area. So I'm taking 1 damage, I'm paying 2 to play the 3-2 Toga book combo. Now, here's what I don't like. I'm taking damage, I'm paying 2, right? While I already paid 2 for other things. At level 3, I feel like having access stock at the end of your level 3 turn is better to have nothing, because there are many things you can do during your opponent's turn to prevent them from killing you. So the fact that you're paying extra 2, which is quite bad in my opinion. Right? There are cards that can help grab climaxes. For example, you got your climax swapper, which is a staple for every deck now, and your unplayed check top 3s, right? Now, sometimes, obviously, you can't get these, but most of the time, you should be getting them early in order to set up, right? Also, it's book. I'm not a huge fan of book, but the level 1-0 Toga is just too good at this point, and I am gonna run it despite being a book, and it's helping my Didao deck a lot in the current meta right now, the way I'm building it. The second effect is a top salvage brainstorm. The fact is a tap salvage brainstorm makes this card a lot better, and having the niche effect to being able to play your climax from waiting room is okay. It's not needed because you have all the options, better options to grab your climaxes. But it's there just in case that you need it with like 1 in 5 games or something, right? Salvage Brainstorm is good because who knows if you want to play Salvage or Search Brainstorm depending on the support. Now I will change my mind on the 3-2s and the 1-0 if I do them like in the supports for the supports in the set. Who knows, right? If you do get counter, I feel like this card would be much better. If not, then we'll see. Okay. So for now, just because it's a salvage brainstorms are staples, the one of the best zeros in the game still, and it's your plussing engine as well. I'm gonna give this card just a 3 out of 5, mainly because it's a salvage brainstorm. The play climax from waiting room effect is a niche effect. Once again, I'm not a huge fan of it because they're just better options, and Dell has the options for it. Other than that, the card's solid. Move on to the 0-0 Kurumi. I am not a fan of the 0-0 Kurumi because it's on reverse. I put the top card on my deck into my clock, and when this card is reversed, I can pay the cost and I mill 2, and then I choose 1 up to 1 level X or lower date or spirit character from my waiting room and add it to my hand. X equal to to the levels of the cards I mill by the effect. So I mill 2 characters. Depending on the levels, I add that card. For example, if I mill level 0 or at level 1, 0 plus 1 equals level 1. So I salvage level 1 or lower character. If I mill level 2 and I mill a level 3 characters, I salvage a level 5 or lower character in my Radiant and add to my hand. The main problem I have with this is not add 2, it's add 1. And it's on reverse. Do you know how slow on reverse is? Reverse is? And the fact that this is the fact that you have to punch yourself to be able to use this effect is worse, right? You have so many options for milling if you want to mill. You got your brainstorm, your taps out starts brainstorm. Heck, you even have your very own salvage brainstorm now. So what is the point of running this card? You have so many options as a level 0. You got Cowgirl, you got your 10 fixed Coterie. You don't need to run the Kurumi. Like the biggest offense with that card is that this card exists and they put it out that card. I feel like this card is a waste of your slot for set 2 because this card is unplayable. This card is really bad. If you want to mill 2, you just play the brainstorm, you just play the Cowgirl. This is essentially a mill 2. You can play the Sawa, you can play the Shido. All these cards have better outcomes than the 0-0 Kurumi. This is a Ricky. You can just search, right? Why take a damage for a mill 2 to salvage something when you can just search for anything with the Ricky? And then if you really want to mill, you can just play the Coterie. This card is way better than that card as well. It's on reverse. It's on like it is. Yes, when this card leaves the field, right? But this card is on reverse, and these 2 cards obviously have the same issues dealing with like hard removal suiciders. Obviously, hard removal suiciders counter these type of effects, but if we're not talking about this Coterie is just much better, right? You don't take damage. This card has the effect of pumping 1k. Also, it's a mill 4, right? Like, this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much other level 0s that I have not put on this list that are better than the 0-0 Kurumi and works better and gives you more. This card gives you nothing. This card is irrelevant. This card is unplayable, and any of these options are better than the 0-0 Kurumi. I do not like this card, which is why I'm giving this card a 1 out of 5. Yeah. Now, if this was like a choose up to 2, then you should consider it. But this card exists mainly, so you run this over the 0-0 Kurumi, and yeah, but this card is not good. Why is it double or even? Okay. Alright, next up, I'm gonna talk about the set 2 Kaguya. Set 2 Kaguya is a new early play, so 4 more characters, early play, really good condition, and during my turn, this card gains 3k power. During my turn. So just already something I don't like, right? Also, I have to ditch 2 cards to perform the effect, right? Deal 1 damage to my opponent. This 2 deal 1 damage on early play, pretty okay, not gonna lie. Also, it's an early play heal. If you don't ditch, you can't do the burn. If you ditch 2, you get both. You get the burn and the heal, obviously. If you don't ditch 2, you either heal or burn, I believe. Let me double it. Discard 2 cards. When this card plays on 6 hand, all your other day characters, you may pay the cost. If you do, perform the following 2 effects once in any order. Yeah. Otherwise, choose one of the 2 effects. Yep. So if you don't ditch, you choose 1 of the 2 effects. If you ditch, you get both. Usually, early play healers are nice, but compared to what their other early plays we have, I feel like this card is not good because it's a 10-5 on my turn. I want 10-5 to be both players' turn because 7-5 during my opponent's turn is a joke, right? 7-5 is easy to get over. Yes, 10-5, it does matter. It's pretty easy to get over, but there are a few cases where 10-5s allows you to have 1 extra card on the board, which is much more better than a potential lift than a guaranteed death, right? 7-5 is guaranteed. 10-5 is potential. There are some games where my 10-5 live, and I feel like the Kurumi and the Toka does a better job as a stability card than the Kaguya. Now, as for the burn 1 effect, dish 2 cards. I feel like the dish 2 card is too costly, mainly because your finisher right now is either the choice combo Kurumi or the standby Kurumi, and both of them need cards in hand for you to activate the effect. Heck, even the sub finish or sub tech this Kurumi, all the cards that I showed so far it needs to ditch from hand to activate their effect, and you mostly want these cards effect to proc more than the burn 1. And if you want to play early play healer, I feel like the set 1 Toka is the best option you get because it's 10-5 on both players' turn, right? And this card, the more I play this card, the more I start hating this card. Now all the 3 early plays we got now, I feel like this is the worst. Yes, it's a 10-5 on both players' turn, but the problem is you can only early play this card when it's in clock, like at the top of your clock as an alarm effect. You know how many like early plays are great. You can when you can play from hand, like anytime you want. There are times I don't even want to clock it, right? I just want to play from hand and I can't. So it gets very awkward when it's in alarm. Do I pay 2 dish 1? I don't know. It's awkward. This card's awkward. The more I play it, the more I hate it. This card is so good. So depending on the supports, I feel like this card I don't feel like you should run it at all, mainly because the 3-2 token exists, and if you're running this card along with your Kurumis, the finishers, that yeah, I don't feel like it's a good idea because the hand size will be a problem, and you just want the 10-5 healer, you just run the token, right? On top of that, this card is much better as a burn oneer than this. Yes, it's a on reverse burn 2. It's a on reverse pay 2 burn 1. The plus side is when this card attacks, your opponent cannot play backup. Also, it generates its own attack when it generates its own stock when it attacks. So paying 2 is not that hard at level 3. Especially when your other level 3 games, your other level 3 cards, especially this, doesn't need to pay for the burn effect, right? Doesn't need to pay the stock for the burn effect. This do, but I normally play this card along with the Kurumis instead, right? So yeah. Now, I can see some uses for this, maybe if you choose to run the Natsumi, but actually I take that back. Natsumi requires ditching, and ditching 2 can be deadly to your Natsumi combo. So I feel like this card is not great. So but there might be some redeemable qualities to this card in the future, depending on the future card days for this set. So for now, I'm just gonna give this a 2 out of 5. Moving on next to the 1-0 Yoshino. The 1-0 Yoshino, honestly, is not good. It is during my turn, it's basically a 7k base before 7k base after the climax, and it's combo up with the bar. If I have 4 or more other characters, choose one of the following 2 effects, not both. I have to choose one. Either I salvage a character, or choose one opponent's level 1 or higher characters. If I do, I send that card to waiting room, and they choose a character that's level X or lower to the character that I sent to the waiting room. So if I send level 1, they have to choose level 0 or lower. If I choose level 2, they have to choose level 0, level 1 or lower character. I put it onto the stage. The effect, the problem with this card is it's trying to do 2 things, and it's not doing well at it, right? I think the salvage effect most of the time is much more beneficial to you than the minus level 1. Because let me tell you, a good example is this card exists, right? If you really want to get rid of the pesky standbys, what you can do is just let's see. Give me a second. Remember how I showed you like the level ones that I showed you? There. These are great options to get rid of the standby walls, like the tutus, the one ones, right? And the tutus again, or the one ones, depending on when you get it out, when you use it, right? This card is infinitely worse because you need a combo, and you're choosing a free plus for getting rid of a one character that they can get back easily. And there are many other ways to do it better. Like this is a better Chica. The Yoshino is definitely a better Chica. At first, when people saw it, this has value because you don't need to use the plus effect if you have hand size. But most of the time, level 1 combos, you want the plus effect because you're level 1. You don't have much options besides level 1 comboing, and set up for future plays, right? And since this card is not being played, why is this card relevant when Chica has a similar effect and that's not being played, and this is not even, and this pretty much has the same effect. So yeah, and there are much better options. Like the 1-0 shields is just better options. The other level ones that showed in the video earlier in the videos, like the Kurumis, the Hibikis, are much better options and much better counters to standby than the 1-0 Yoshino. And plus the 1-0 Shido complements the 0-0 Shido and the Sabo well, because you rest these two, you pay the cost for these two, and you just mill through your deck. It's quite simple. So I feel like this 1-0 Yoshino, honestly, the salvage effect is nice, but you have salvage brainstorm now, so this card is not useful. I feel like you should not run it unless there's support for it, or maybe make it relevant with some of the new set 2 cards. Who knows, right? For now, I don't like this card. It's a 1-5. The fact it's a better Chica, but Chica's not being played. Yeah, it's just a better Chica, and Chica's not being played. I don't see this card being played at all as well. And now finally, I think the card that I'm most interested in is this 3-2 Natsumi. So on play, heal and combos with the bar. If I have 4 more characters, I perform the following effect. I pay 1 digit character, and it gets the following 2 ability until the end of my opponent's turn. Okay, this cannot be targeted by my opponent's effects. This is good. It protects yourself from the rest backups. It protects you from money counters. It protects you from many soul counters. And the character across from this card might get -2 soul, and I can also deal 1 damage to opponent. So it's a -0 and deal 1 damage. Now, I really do hope that this card gets the Sora treatment, where it gives a free encore, and it gives a early play that allows me to early play this card out. Now, unfortunately, that's what I want, but I don't think we're gonna get many because this card is able to deal damage. Also, it heals. Normal minus soul combo cards like Goblin Slayer, I think Hollow Life, even Bane Dreams. I don't think those cards heal. They do early play, but they do not heal nor deal damage to your opponent by burn effects, right? This card does burn, and it minus soul. Also, it heals, and it also can be targeted by card effects, right? So if this card does get an early play, I feel like this card will be extremely busted. And if it does get the Sora treatment, where Sora pretty much gets an early play and is very own free encore, this card will be busted. So I'm very intrigued by this card and see how it performs. So this is one card I want to see. I want to test out the most right now. And in order for it to complement it, I feel like these are the cards I want to complement with it. I have some ideas. The standby version, bar standby at level 2, maybe start at level 3 with my bar combo, and then go for the level 3 game if I still have some hand, right? Bar gives me hand, but this card also needs hand, so it just depends on the situations if I want to do the bar or the standby combo at level 3. It's because this also is a this one card as well. Or I could go for the pants combo. Once again, pants grab me bar and bar grabs me bar, right? The pants combo will just crew me. This crews me allows me to stall more than superior SD tail, depending on my damage, right? This card can, if I have 2 or less cards in my clock, I can shove back any card with this card tags. So I can just shove back Climax and stall and potentially just play this for some opponents if I don't die. But it all comes down to the level 1, level 0, and level 2 even, how I build it to revolve around these. So it goes for the Zephyr Kurumi, with the bar. So it's either this version of bar choice was bar standby or bar pants. There's also the level 1 bar choice I'm thinking of doing as well. When the Natsumi comes out, I think I'll be definitely trying these out. And for now, I think the best option is maybe the level 1 choice and maybe standby. I think those are the best options. I feel like the pants and the other choice might be harder to build a deck around and might not end up even working, but it's just an idea so far right now. There's a lot of potential for this card, so I'm actually gonna give this card 3 out of 5. This is like the best card that's been showing out, and this is a lot of potential. I'm really excited to play this card. Now, throughout all the cards right now, I'm most excited about I'm actually really want to try out the book, the 3 books. Obviously, the book combo deck, which is 3 tutorial. I'm mostly intrigued about the book combos to see how it goes with the current meta and what kind of support it will get to make it even better and pretty much make us run book. Books is not really favorable because it's book and it's not standby, it's not choice, not gate, right? So it's not received well. And book climax generated pretty much suck as a trigger. The card that I'm mostly excited about right now is a 3-2 Natsumi. And I am willing to try the 3 Tokas. If these do end up not doing so well, at the very least, it's a buff to my Toga waifu deck, right? I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope me make this video gives you an idea of what set 2 Dao can be like combined with the other sets of Dao. I'll see you guys next time. Focus on it, signing out.